You won't believe in what just happened. Kevin Zeitler is a Chicago Bear. Breathed at him for a second. Because it's not just a signing. It's a statement about who this team wants to be when the wing gets mean and the games get short. Before. We get surgical with the film and the ripple effects. Do the Chicago thing. Smash like, subscribe to Bears News Fan Report, and drop your first gut reaction below. Tonight we talk about trench truth, rookie calm, and a veteran guard who turns 3rd and 2 from a coin flip into a business decision. Picture it. Soldier Field. Gray sky stitched low. The kind of cold that eats the air between words. Caleb steps. To the line and the right side looks different, quieter, more adult. The cadence hits, the ball snaps, and Zeitler's first 2 steps erase panic. He wins the angle, clamps the sternum, and the 3-text rush turns into a shrug and a sigh. That half second is the difference between a rookie quarterback surviving the moment and owning it. You feel it in the pocket geometry. You see it in Caleb's eyes. Shoulders stay level, feet stay rhythmic, reads stay honest. This isn't vibes. It's scaffolding for a franchise. Zeitler's game is not loud. It's lawful. Inside hand, independent. Punch, hips under the strike, eyes in the belly button, refit, re-anchor, finish. He turns chaos into homework, and defenders hate homework. On combo blocks, he's the metronome square, patient, then violent through the ribcage as he climbs. On reach, the first step steals the angle. On down blocks, it's pad level and malice. He doesn't chase hero plays. He stacks winning reps until the clock submits. And the more mundane it looks, the more you realize you're watching a craftsman whose boring snaps break opponents' thought now. Zoom out to what this does to the menu. You want duo to break the will of a front that loves to peak gaps? Zeitler turns. The double into a lever that empties linebackers from their comfort zones. You want inside zone to feel like an argument you always win? He keeps the shoulders square and reads backside color like a science experiment. You want counter with the guard wrapping into the hole like a hammer. He's the guy who sees the blitzer. Too late for the blitzer to matter. And when defenses get desperate and spin bodies into the A-gap, he doesn't flinch. He short sets, keeps the inside half clean, and dares the rusher to beat craft instead of beating air. This is also about translation for a rookie QB. Young passers drown when every snap is a pop quiz. They grow when the pocket tells the same story over and over. Zeitler writes reliable sentences. The right guard protects the launch point protects the progression protects the confidence. Play callers get braver when their right side isn't a lottery. Suddenly you can live in 5-man protections on first down. You can marry quick game to glance RPOs, and your deep shots don't have to be emergency flares. They can be scheduled flights. That's what a veteran guard buys you, freedom through. Predictability.identity lives in short yardage and late games, and Zeitler is a PS5 controller for both. 3rd and 2, heavy personnel, motion to test the fit, snap the ball, fire the double. If the linebacker knifes, sternum meets steel and the crease opens. If he hesitates, the back's pads sneak under his chin and the chains move. 4th quarter, 4-point lead, the lake starts hissing sideways, and the message becomes physical literacy. This is how Chicago finishes. He's the type of lineman who forces your opponent to call timeouts they wanted to keep and to substitute bodies they didn't want to show. Football isn't polite in January. You need someone who speaks fluently and impolite. There's a cultural pulse here, too. A veteran guard with scar-tough technique walks into your room and the temperature changes. Young tackles watch his set, points and steal them. Centers feel his certainty and call protections with more teeth. Tight ends block longer because they trust the surface is clean. Receivers sell the run with honest stems because they know the payoff. Once safeties get nosy, the post is there, and it's not a hope, it's a trap. The line starts to move like one animal instead of 5 anxious humans. That's how middling. Offenses become reliable, and reliable offenses become mean. But is it really done? You're asking. because this city has been burned by whispers. Here's the straight talk. There's no glossy step-and-repeat photo from Hollis Hall tonight. No laminated contract held in front of cameras. What there is alignment. The fit is surgical. The need is obvious. And the timeline is screaming for a grown-up at right guard. Agents and cap folks can haggle over commas. Kate doesn't negotiate. If logic, leverage, and timing keep marching in the same direction, the rest is ink and a pen that finally stops hovering. We're not selling you fairy tales. We're reading. The room and the playbook, and they rhyme. Let's get nerdy, because Bears fans respect the grind. In Pass Pro, Zeitler's first 2 inches are everything. A micro hop that keeps hips loaded. A hand carriage that invites the rusher into a losing angle, and a strike that lands with the heel of the palm, not fingers grabbing cloth. He doesn't lunge. He refuses to give his chest. When he resets through the man. That's how stunts die and how games on the right side turn into confusion for the defense, not for you. In the run, he's a GP says eyes for color, feet for leverage, hands for justice. If his back presses the landmark becomes profit. Scheme fit? This is where it gets fun for Shane Waldron. You can live in 12 personnel and toggle from duo to play-action crossers without changing the picture for your line. You can. Spam split zone? Then punish over-aggressive edges with the leak to Cole K-Met. You can build quick game mirrored concepts, knowing your right guard won't be the reason the ball floats. You could even call that nasty toss crack where the guard pulls to the alley and erase cornerbacks from their own film study. All of it works better when the right B-gap isn't a suggestion. It's a promise. The vision context matters, and the poetry writes itself. A lineman forged in the fire of the Motor City crossing the lake to lay bricks in Chicago. The NFC North is a fistfight fought with philosophy. Detroit wants to be inevitable. Green Bay wants to be correct. Minnesota wants to be clever. Chicago must be undeniable. Zeitler is denial personified. He tells defensive coordinators the truth. They hate. If you cannot win fast, you will not win at all. And once they know that, once they stop calling the cute stuff and start calling the desperate stuff, your explosives arrive on schedule like trains in an older, better city. Red zone, the place where ideas become points or regrets. With a veteran. Guard, your calls stop apologizing. Arc motion to stress eye discipline. Jet sweep window dressing the jog of safety, then hammer the gap with low pads and cruel intention. If the backer steps, trap him. If he sits, fold him. If they blitz the interior, high-low them with quick pop passes and boots that slide behind their aggression. The thing about veteran guards is they don't just block. They curate the chaos so your ideas survive the 6-yard line. Contracts and calendars exist, so let's be grown-ups. Any deal that lands should reward availability and January usefulness. Keep the structure smart bonuses tied to snaps and wins, not to fantasies. Manage workloads so the freshest version of Zeitler shows up when the lake turns mean. Rotate in second halves of blowouts. Build weeks that respect bodies. This is Chicago. We know what winter does. You don't beat February football by peaking. In September, the locker room echoes matter as much as the clip reel. Offensive lines are folk music passed down, learned by ear, perfected by repetition. Zeitler's presence teaches habits that outlive his own snaps. Pre-snap communication gets shorter and smarter. The little tricks the thumb pressure tell of a slanting tackle. The eye flick of a mugged linebacker becomes shared language. That's how false starts die and how free rushers go extinct. That's how a rookie QB learns to trust that the right side is a promise kept. Let's talk rivalry psychology, because this division is built on it. Poaching steadiness from a neighbor isn't petty, it's strategic theft. Every time Chicago lines up with a cleaner B-gap, you're not just winning yards. You're altering how Detroit self-talks in film rooms. Every time Caleb climbs into a pocket that doesn't collapse, you're changing how Green Bay scripts pressures. Every 2nd and 6 you convert on the ground forces Minnesota to admit that cleverness without cruelty is just theater. Zeitler doesn't throw shade. He throws. Leverage fans ask, what about the other guards? Iron sharpens iron. Competition is a gift, not a threat. You don't build a January team by hoping 5 names stay healthy and perfect. You build it by raising the floor so injuries don't drag you into panic and so slumps don't become stories. If someone slides to center in a pinch, you want a veteran voice 2 helmets down. If a tackle needs help versus a wide 9 demon, you want a guard who can short set, angle his hips, and erase the worst-case snap. Depth is not luxury. It's survival. Weather is a scheme here, too. When breath turns to frost and the ball turns mean, teams that need 35 pretty throws go silent. Teams that can call 9 straight runs find religion. Zeitler is winterproofing. He makes your identity weather-resistant. He turns the loudest nights into practical ones. He lets your defense rest long enough to arrive mean in the 4th, because 3 and outs become 4-minute symphonies played in low A with a drumline made of helmets. There's history humming under this move.